Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial, we are going to be working on making the pants for our dolls. So these pants are pretty easy to make. We just basically start with a chain that fits around the body of our doll. Work one leg and then we attach and work the other leg. I want to add really quick, please listen, just in case. In the video, I didn't accidentally, I told you guys that we were going to use the center tail of our leg to sew up a little bitty hole that happens in the fancy bit area of our doll. And then I ended the video, and then I come back and I tell you guys, sorry, I didn't mean to forget to do that, and then I show you how to do it. Then we end the video. So we have two exit parts. So I want to apologize about that first. Second thing I do want to mention, I do want to apologize. I have a bruise on my hand, and I know some people get kind of very upset about things that are on my hand, like little nicks from a cat. But I have a big bruise right here because I accidentally got my hand caught in a cart at the grocery store, and when I went to walk away, my body went, but my hand stayed. It happens. I don't know. So I'm sorry about that, but back to our pants. So right here, this yarn is, I love this yarn, print, Night Blue. Now this is from Hobby Lobby. I was on a hunt for the best yarn that I could find that would make a good pair of blue jeans, and this is about the best I could find. And it didn't take that much. That was actually a scrap yarn ball. And then the yarn I have right here is scrap yarn, Red Heart Super Saver Cafe Latte. Now that makes a good brown pair of pants. I wanted to do a black pair also, but I thought, no, I'm not going to worry about that. But in today's tutorial, we are going to make a very dark pair of pants, and that is Red Heart Super Saver Charcoal. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think they may have a darker gray that is called Dark Heather Gray. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I had seen that at Walmart. Okay, so anyway, moving on. So part of this pattern, I'm trying to think of how I can word this, consists of using the 6mm hook, and then depending on your tension, your yarn, the size of your doll thigh leg, I jump up to a 6.5mm crochet hook. So what we do is we work the main portion right here with the 6mm hook. And then when we start the legs, that's when I jump up to the 6.5mm, because the thighs, like the legs of my doll, are a little bit bigger than the main body. Like I stuffed them a little bit thicker. So that's why I jumped up to that 6.5mm hook. Now, you may not need to do that. You may be able to make the entire pants with just a 6mm crochet hook and it fit your doll pretty good. It's just I have to do that for mine, and some of us may or may not have to. There's 100 different things that can go into factoring whether you need to jump up a hook size or not. Some of them being your tension, your yarn, how the legs of your dolls are, and so on and so on. So it's gonna be something that you're gonna have to decide, or not decide, but figure out on your own. And I show you how to do that. So what we do is we work the main portion until we get to our fancy bit area. And then I want you guys to work 1 or 2 rounds of that leg, stop, and then try it on your doll. And if it looks like you're just stretching those stitches way too much, then I would pull it back out and then jump up to another hook. Try 1 or 2 rounds and then try it back on your doll. Is it still stretching too much? Then pull it out and go up another hook size. Like I said, there's just 100 different things that could be, you may or may not need to. It's just excuse me, trial and error. I just had to pause my video because I think I inhaled yarn fluff. Okay, so like I was saying, that's what, what we're going to have to do with our doll leg. So if you can see right here, Oh, I think I got, excuse me. If you can see right here, can you see how those stitches are a little bit tight, but they're not over here? That's because I didn't pull these stitches, these rows back out and start over with the 6.5 millimeter. I just continued with the 6.5 millimeter. And then over here, it's not stretched out because I jumped up to that 6 millimeter and then just worked my leg. And then right here, you know, this was my designing pair. And then I knew when I was working with this one that I'm going to have to jump up. So the stitches right here at the top of the thigh aren't stretched because I knew to go up to that 6.5. But anyway, I tell you guys how all that's going to work out in the tutorial. What else are you going to need? You're going to need a pair of scissors, a needle to weave in your end, one stitch marker or whatever you guys prefer to use to mark your stitches, thread. Somebody the other day told me that in one of my comments, told me that they use plastic coated paper clips. And I thought, that is genius. That is a great idea. But anyway, that's a pretty cool idea. You could use those. And then you're going to need a tape measure. So of course you got to make sure it's cute, right? Yeah. Okay, so we got our normal supplies, 6 millimeter hook, and then go ahead and grab that 6.5 just in case you may or may not need it. We'll figure that out. All right. Okay, that's it, guys. Get your stuff together and let's get started making a pair of pants. Okay, to get started on our pants for our little doll, what we're going to do is we need to chain any multiple of 2, but you need to make sure it fits around your doll. So like your doll, you know, you may have stuffed more or your tension's tighter or looser, whatever it may be. So your chain may not be the exact same as mine, but a good width, or I mean a good length for mine is a chain of 30. And then I already took her pants off, but that fits nice around my doll. So I'm going to get my chain of 30 done, and then I'm going to show you how it's going to fit around the doll. So get a slip knot on your hook. And I'm going to go ahead and chain 30 off camera real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got my chain of 30 done. I'm just going to pull up my shirt. And I'm just going to lay it on there and wrap it around. So you can see here's my first chain and here's my last chain, and it fits just right. It's not too tight. I'm not stretching it. It's not loose on me, like it's around me. It's not too loose on the doll. It looks just right. Okay, so you guys chain whatever is a nice fit for around your doll. Just make sure it's an even number, because what we're gonna do, where's my pants, is we're going to split that in half, and then that's the legs. So this is a chain of 30, so half of 30 is 15. So this leg is 15 stitches, and this leg is 15 stitches. So, so just chain any even number, any multiple of 2, and that is going to be, that's going to determine the stitches of your leg. So for right now, I've got my chain of 30, and now I'm going to hold it out to where the chains are facing me, hold this last chain, and I'm just going to bring it right to my hook. Right like this. Get my working yarn going, and I'm just going to slip stitch right into that very first chain. Okay, I'm going to tighten down that slip knot a little bit. Now what we're going to do is chain 1 and single crochet right back into that chain. See the hole right there? We're going to single crochet right back in there. And now I'm going to stop and mark that. Mark that chain with that single crochet with the stitch marker. Well, come on. There. All right, now we are going to single crochet into each of the chains all the way around. So there's my second chain, third. All right, so just single crochet all the way till we get back around to that stitch marker, okay? All right, I will meet you guys there. Okay, so I've made it around and I have one more chain to single crochet into, but I want to stop to make sure you guys can see what we've got here. So right here is my last chain that I need to single crochet into. Okay, but if you look, see that bar right there, right on the side? That's our slip stitch. And then right up here, this right here is our chain 1, and here's our first single. So I don't want you guys to think you have another stitch to go, or another chain to go into, because you have I have one more chain right there, slip stitch, the little heart right there, that's my chain 1, and there's my first single. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and work that last single, and I'm going to stop, because right here is the perfect time to see if we need to adjust that chain any. So I'm going to bring my doll back. I'm going to go just right up and see how that fits. I still like it. That's a good size, because then my shirt can come back down over the top of my pants. All right, so I'll pull these back off. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are not going to join the rounds with a slip stitch. We are just going to continually move our stitch marker up in our first single crochet. So we just worked round 1 of our pants, and now we're going to work 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds of single crochet. So we have 1. I'm going to remove your stitch marker, single crochet right back into that very first single, and that's the beginning of round 2. Mark that. Mark your first single. Okay, now I'm just going to single crochet all the way around. So this is round 2. And we are just going to repeat this, single crocheting all around for a total of 8 rounds. So we need to do it 7 more times. So this is 2. And I'm just going to single crochet all the way around back to that stitch marker, okay? So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm coming back around. I have 2 more single crochets to single crochet into. All right, that's the end of round 2. So to move on to round 3, remove my stitch marker, single crochet into that very first single, mark the first single. All right, and then single crochet all the way around for round 3. So we're going to repeat that until we have a total of 8 rows. So we did 1, that was round 2, and we're starting round 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it should measure, by the time we're done, it should measure, so we're going to measure from the beginning chain to like the fancy bit area. So it should be 2 inches or pretty close. Okay, so go ahead and get those rounds done. 8 rounds of single crochet around. We've done 1, 2, and we're just starting 3, and we need a total of 8. Okay, so go ahead and finish that, and I will get mine done off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just finished my 8 rounds of single crochet, and it measures 2 inches, which that's perfect. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and try it on your doll, make sure it's still fitting nice. So what we're going to do now So we're going to bump up to the 6.5 millimeter hook. Now, like I said at the beginning, you may or may not need to do this. I found that I needed to because my doll legs tend to be pretty thick right here. So if I kept that 6 millimeter hook right through the top of the legs, like this area, was a little too tight. So I just bumped up to a 6.5 millimeter. And if you look, I mean, you kind of can't tell that I did. I mean, by looking at them. But you may not need to do this. I would, honestly, if I were you, just work a few rounds. All it is just single crochet. Work a few rounds with your 6 millimeter hook. Try it on. Is it way too tight, you know, right through here? Then I just stop. Go to the bigger hook. You know, pull out the couple rows you did. Don't forget to continually mark that first single crochet. And then go back with the slightly larger hook. All right, so what we're going to do now is we are going to separate the fancy bit area to get our leg holes. So what we're going to do, so for mine, I have a chain of 30 single crochet around, okay? So half of 30 is 15. So whatever your number is, let's say your number is 24. So half of 24 is 12. Or, you know, whatever, just whatever number you have, you should have the exact same number of single crochets that you chained at the beginning. So I chained 30, I have 30 single crochets. So what we're going to do is we are going to single crochet into the half number of whatever your main number was. So mine was 30, so mine's 15. I'm going to single crochet into the first 15. And I'm going to keep marking that first single crochet. So here's 1. I'm going to stop and go ahead and mark it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, so there is our leg, these 15 single crochet we just worked. To close that, we're going to come right across, right to that the single crochet that has the stitch marker. So what we just worked was round 9. So we're going to go ahead and move on to round 10 by single crocheting right into the single crochet with the stitch marker. So we just did round 9, and here starts row 10. Go right in there with a single. Mark it. And now we just single crochet around. And that's how we get our first leg. And one more single crochet, and that's the end of round 10. So now all we are going to do is just single crochet, and you don't need your stitch marker anymore. All we're going to do is single crochet around and around and around and around and around until your pant leg we don't want it to fully cover our foot. We want it to be like once you get your pants on your doll, and you can try your pants on your doll as you're working this, you want to have, well, let's see. Let's do an inch, at least an inch from the very bottom of your foot to where your pants your pant leg stops. Okay? Because that gives us enough room to pull our pant leg up. And then whenever we do our little shoes, and then we can pull the pant leg down right to the shoe. Just like that. And then like on Matt's doll, it covers the shoe a little bit. So for mine, the length from the fancy bit area down is 3 inches. Maybe just a fluffy yarn stitch past 3 inches. Okay? So I'm going to set that to the side, and I'm just going to take out this stitch marker and just keep single crocheting around and around and around and around, and making keep your chain, your tail right here, because that's how we're going to know where the back is, because we want to work this around and around and around and around. And then once we're getting close to that length we're going to keep looking, and then we will stop in the back and fasten off in the back and then weave in the tail, so we don't have a tail showing in the front of our pants. All right, so I'm just going to single crochet around and around and around till we get to 3 inches, and then I will come back and we will go from there. All right, so I'll be right back. Okay, so sorry about that. I was working on my leg and working on my leg and working on my leg, and I got to look and I thought, man, that looks like it's close to 3 inches. And I measured it before I put it on my doll, and it measured 3 inches, but then I put it on my doll and now it's down to only like almost 2 1/4. So make sure you put it on your doll, then measure, because once you get it on your doll, everything's going to have to stretch out and move around and adjust, and you're going to lose that length. Okay, so I'd say I probably got a good couple more rows to go. All right, so I'm going to work a few more rows and I'll be right back. Okay, so I only did just 1 or 2 more rows, and I put it on my doll. Now I want you to be aware that when you put these pants on your doll, obviously the leg's not going to go right through the pants. You got to get your fingers in there and grab your leg. Well, when you do that, you're stretching the leg out. So just get that back into shape. And I think I could still go another round or 2. I think I'm going to go ahead and take them back off and go another round. So make sure you're stopping at the back with the, your beginning tail. I'm just going to work in 1 more round. This is what makes it a little complicated, to tell you guys exactly what to do, and it's going to come out perfect for you guys, just like it did me. Well, it came out perfect the first time with a different yarn with my tension. Other than that, it's hard to say it's going to come out, perfect for you with your yarn and your tension. You know what I mean? Like, that makes it a little complicated, but we will get it. All right, I'm almost to the back. There's my tail. So I'm just going to go 1 more stitch or 2. How about that? 2. Okay, now I'm going to stop. Try them on again. Okay, that's better. Pull up our pants. Okay, so let's see what we got now. That's a lot better. So the 1 inch is right to the bottom of my foot. Bring it up. There's where my pants start. Good deal. Okay. So now the hard part's over. Now all we got to do is single crochet all the way around the next leg to the exact same length of the first leg. So I'm going to take my pants back off. Okay, so I got that. That's a good length. It still comes out just a touch over 3 inches. That's all right. Different yarn. All right, so I'm to the back of my pants because here's my tail. Here's the back of my pants. And I am going to, actually, I'm going to pop out that last single I just did. I shouldn't have done that. All right, what we're going to do is just slip stitch into that next single. Chain 1, pull up a loop long enough to have a tail to weave it in. And then cut. All right, you can go ahead and weave it in, or I'm going to weave mine in later. But what we're going to do now is attach our yarn, and we're going to start this second leg. So I'm going to get a slip knot on my hook. And I want to attach it into one of these beginning stitches. I don't want to attach it out here on the edge. I want to do it right here, so when it's on the doll, that seam is kind of hidden. You know, you can't see where I attach the yarn. Yeah, there's a little hole right there, but nobody's going to be looking there. They shouldn't be. Okay, so holding my pants, I want you guys, let me get a pointer. I want you guys to be able to see. Here is my first single. Right here. Not here, that's already worked into. We've got this one, and then come over to the other side, and we've got this one. Now we should have 15, or you know, half of whatever your total, your main chain was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And all we're going to do is attach into that first single. This part right here, I'd say, is probably the most complicated, is trying to work around this first leg. All right, now I'm just going to slip stitch. Tighten that down. Chain 1, and I'm going to go right back in there with a single. And now I'm going to jump right across, and actually I'm going to pull that tail right inside my pants. Right like that. All right, now I'm going to come right across to this stitch. Remember, this one isn't our first one because it's already got a single crochet worked into it. So it's the next one right there. And I'm going to single crochet into that. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Perfect. Single crochet right back into that very first single to start a round again. All right, now all we do is just keep single crocheting around and around and around until our leg measures the same length as the second leg, or the first leg, I'm sorry. Our second leg measures the same length as our first leg. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we'll take these tails and we'll sew up that little hole that's in between the pant legs, okay? All right, so just keep single crocheting around and around and around and around and around until you get to the length of your first leg. I'm going to get mine done and I'll be right back. Okay, I've been working on my second pant leg, and it looks like it might be long enough, but to be on the safe side, I'm going to put it on my doll just to make sure. Stretched out that leg a little bit. Okay, I think that's good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna slip stitch into the next stitch while it's still on her, I know. And I'm not using my 6.5, I'm just using this one to work a slip stitch. Chain 1, pull up a loop, cut. Okay, and there we go. I'm gonna weave in my ends after I get done with this, but I'm gonna go ahead and end my video, guys. That's it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Thank you so very much for watching. I'm going to put a link in the description box for the playlist that I have that's going to have all the pants, the shirt, the shoes, there's a dress, and I'll add more, you know, as time goes by. But these are our pants. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so very much for watching. You guys are the best. You know that. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed my tutorial. Subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss what's next from me. Leave me a comment, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! So I started weaving my ends in and then realized I forgot I told you guys we were going to use this center tail to sew up the hole in the fancy bit area. So I'm back. Tutorial's not over quite yet. So go ahead and get that center tail. Get that on your needle, and then come in here, and we're just going to go back and forth over the top of that hole and stitch it shut. Just like that. Go through some stitches, pull it through, and then stop so it leaves a little loop on there. And then run your tail right through that loop, pull it tight, and then go ahead and run the remaining of that tail through some stitches. Doesn't matter where, just wherever you can get your hook or your needle. Ah, I didn't even, dang it. Get back on there. Alright. Now snip. Sorry about that. Alright, now I'm just gonna go ahead and stay here. I got one more to weave in. Bring that right through some stitches. Okay, now our pants are done. Now the tutorial's done. I apologize for that, guys. Now here is the real exit. Thank you so very much for watching. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't, because I got a whole bunch more coming. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.